Some businesses and traders may be taking undue advantage of the newly introduced tax law to arbitrarily increase the price of goods and services in different parts of the country, dialogue finding has shown. Since the commencement of the new tax law in January, the federal government has maintained that the law would reduce certain taxes and stimulate growth without short-term revenue increase. However, recent developments indicate that some business owners are already raising the prices of goods and services, attributing it to the tax laws. Dialogue also gathered that the increase has come in a form of value-added tax charges and other general price adjustments. Now, if you recall, the controversial tax regime became law on June the 26th, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed 4 major tax reform bills into law, making what the government has described as the most significant overhaul of the tax system in decades. The laws are the Nigerian Tax Act, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act, all operating under a single authority, the Nigerian Revenue Service. The NRS has last December said the new tax laws were designed to strengthen economic competitiveness, attract investment, and also improve long-term fiscal stability. But with the recent exploitation of Nigerians by these business owners and major Nigerians, or rather a major number of Nigerians, not knowing little or nothing about the new Tax Act, will its good intention by government be met? And how can this new tax law translate into a robust economic growth for the nation? Still remains a big question, and one we shall be looking at on Dialogue today as we try to fully understand the new tax regime and its impact on us. And that is, new tax regime, what is true and what is not. That is what we're having as a major discourse on the show today. We're looking at the new tax regime, what seems to be true and what's not true, knowing that many Nigerians seem not to understand this very new tax act and are indeed being exploited by a whole lot of business owners and also businesses. Well, anyway, it's in our business to always invite a guest to come talk about it and give us a total insight into what we're discussing. Hence, we're bringing no other but an economist. First time he will be joining us on this awesome platform, and we're talking about Dialogue. I will talk of no other person but economist Gideon Ogu. If you can truly help them understand more about this new tax law, which, like I said in my introduction, is now being exploited by some certain persons. And not only that, but it's putting more of a pressure on a whole lot of Nigerians not knowing what to do and what seems to be true and what seems not to be. But anyway, let's look into it. Now, we do know that there's these 4 laws that are all now become one. Now, the Tax Reform Act of 2025 represents for many Nigerians a major overhaul of the national fiscal network. And we also do know that it seems to be a bit opaque to many Nigerians what this tax law means. And I really appreciate if you can help us quickly break it down and let us have a brief understanding of what these 4 laws mean coming into one.
Okay. Mike, the issue of the opaque nature
of the law
is understandable because of the process. 1,000 people in Nigeria, just to make the number moderate, gathered in various forums and came up with whatever we are now calling this law. None of them dovetailed it into the basic people. So the second problem with Nigeria is we are not a highly literate country. So when you put things in a book or in a book form, many of the content will never be understood. What have government actually done? We had close to 89 laws that enable certain levels of government, from the federal to the local government, to collect certain taxes. What was the outcome of that? Double taxation. So you go to a hotel, for example, you pay VAT. You go to the market. The point of the opaque nature is that, truthfully speaking, nobody likes tax. Why? You earn the money Why should government take part of your earning? It's a question that except, and in our KG class we were told that one of the civic responsibility of a law-abiding citizen is to pay tax. So you see that obligation is also why Nigerians are angry. If I pay tax and I still provide water for myself, the roads are not good, security and all that, all the things the Constitution says the government will do, they are not being done. Then it is commonsensical that the people will fight anything tax. Yeah. Now, is this tax law a bad law? The answer is no.
Okay.
If truly it will be implemented and used the way it is done. So, the wise to what the art is saying.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you for giving us a brief understanding of what or where we seem to lie as it concerns this tax. But I want us to now come or break it down to bits. And one I want us to first start off, which I know a whole lot of Nigerian workers will really be wanting to know more about, is that of the progressive personal income tax, or PE also.
Okay.
And how does it really affect employees? Because I know a whole lot of Nigerians who are working with the little we know that when it comes to those that earn about 800K or less per annum, they are basically exempted from this tax. But I really want us to, or rather, help us put into perspective
let's put it this way. In this new tax law, all earners, remember that tax is only generated 800,000.
Yes.
It means that in a month, you are earning less than 70,000.
Okay. Which is the way below
which is
normal
the wage good. So
yeah,
automatically they are telling you that any Nigerians who earns below the minimum wage is exempted from tax. Okay. Then there are categories that way. So there is a tax calculator that is available for people to know what they can pay. But for the payee, this is where it is beautiful in the new tax law. The level of exemptions that are now in the new tax law makes you to pay less tax than what you have been paying. So for most workers this month of January, if your tax, for example, was 6,000 naira, I presume that at the end of the month when you see your pay slip, the tax is supposedly supposed to be less to about 4,700.
That you will be taxed on.
That you will be taxed. Why? The margin for which these taxes are not to be taken by the tier have been adjusted. So for that. Now, the other part of it is the greatest problem of taxation in Nigeria is not actually those who pay PE. Okay. Because how many persons actually pay PE? Less than 10% of the population. Yeah. Why is tax revenue not giving us much? The super earners who earns well over 500 million and above per annum, they dodge tax.
Okay, because, yeah, thank you for saying that, because with what we know about this tax, they are talking about those high earners who pay 25% of their tax income.
Yeah, yes.
So let's really understand that.
So they because of the structural tiers that they now have, their focus is shifting from the downtrodden or the lowest part of the rack, which have been those in the
basic minimum
organized public sector, the public service. They are now moving to those who earns in millions. That's number one. The next issue is there are some passive income earners. Now, government don't want to be docile anymore about this income that we call passive. So if you are a content creator, for example, you do crypto business and whatever. Yeah. Once government can identify a service you rendered for which you were paid, ladies and gentlemen, government is going to collect tax on that earning. So that's where the social media and the content creators are the ambassadors of this tax is wicked. But wait, why should you be earning and government will not collect his tax? Is it only you or the public servant who earns salary that should pay tax?
It's a question.
So those are the issues that are hanging.
Because if you say, because what we're saying now, we are talking about, we do know the social media is now another main
Monetarized.
Yes, it's monetized, and many Nigerians might be making minimal or major.
Not minimal.
Okay, well anyway, let me not be economical with fine. They might be making a major chunk of their art, but would you not agree that these are personal project, personal idea, people that are in this person, with no general input coming from the federal government? Now they are being taxed that much on content creation that they sit at home, bring up an idea, enforce it, ensure that the basic electricity all seems to be in place, and yet government is coming to take from it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where we are now is a product of someone's thought.
Of course.
He thought about it, invested in it, and here we are talking about it.
Okay.
What is the primary business of the business? It's not to make profit.
Most certainly.
So should you not pay tax on profit? Remember, tax is part of an expenditure from earnings. Now, what in your intro, you said something about the unscrupulous Nigerians trying to take advantage. This is where they are getting it wrong. Because what government tax on if I trade profit, if I work for another person, salary or earning, whatever is not any of these two, ladies and gentlemen, should not carry a tax item. But what are we seeing? People are not trying to misinterpret that every money that comes in, government is going to take from it. Remember, that's where the issue. It is the profit that you are making that government is interested. And let me just run somewhere you've not asked me. That's why, for example, they've been saying transactions in the bank, if you don't put the narrative well, oh, government don't have the business of going to debit your account. No. But if your narrative demonstrates that what they are transferring to you is an earning, for a service rendered, then the revenue service is going to be interested in your account, and they might send you a memo.
Okay, so that's the narration they are talking about?
Yes, sir.
So, and it has to come?
It has to come.
Wow. Okay, well, anyways, in case you're just joining us, and we're giving a quick breakdown of what the new tax regime seems to be. If you still recall that this new tax law was introduced
January
on the 20th. Yeah, January 1st is when it commenced. But remember, it was signed into law and indeed made known to Nigeria way back in June 26th of 2025, but indeed kick-started the 1st of January 2026. And many Nigerians are already asking the basic question, which we are happy our economy seems to be asking. And in case they are telling you about it, well, you need to narrate well so they do not come for your jungler and indeed empty your account. But anyway, we're not emptying all the questions, but actually putting them on the table for you to really help us exhaust it. Now, we do know that small companies, because let's leave individuals. You've given us a breakdown on what is being taxed and what is not. Let's now come to companies. With what we also do know about the tax law is that companies that earn up to or less than 100 million naira are also being exempted from this tax. Both the CTI and the CGT, all of them will not be taxed. But let's look at how also this tax regime would also impact on companies and large-scale business or small-scale business, SMEs.
If there are no unscrupulous or underhand individuals in the tax administration, small-scale businesses are in their better days.
In better days, you say?
Yes.
On account of this tax?
Yes. Because right now, if you file your proper returns, you file your proper return. And I want to say this to all who cares. Visit the tax office. Collect a tax form. Fill the form according to, because for example, I will answer your question. But if, for example, you pay rent of 200,000 per year or 600, and is indicated in that form, automatically gives you some tax relief.
Okay.
But if you don't fill their forms, and so they pre-assess you, then at the end of the year, when you make your tax and you are filing your return for companies, they are going to scrutinize and see whether or not you are cutting corners or not. So the filing of most companies now have to be detailed. If they are detailed, they are accurate, it is verifiable, they are in a better days. Their tax will slump down from whatever it has been to something manageable.
So it's more like benefit for them if they truly come through or come forward with what they generate,
yes,
what their expenses is, employees pay,
yes,
all of that.
everything, and it's clear, it's better for them.
So it's good days for most small SMEs.
Yes.
Okay, well, anyways, so because Nigerians are seeing the doubt, though, and I want us to look at another major one, because let's be honest with our assessment of all of this. Now, KPMG Nigeria, you know KPMG, which is also a member of the global KPMG,
yes,
which is an auditing firm, which is provide professional study services as it concerns advisory and consultation on businesses and the rest, came out and they had an interesting thing to say about this very tax act. And I'd rather go to what they said. Now, according to them, they say the new tax law seems to have errors, there are inconsistent gaps, omissions, and lacuna in this new tax law. And my question is, I'm wondering if a whole KPMG, a global firm, seem to be saying this, and as they seem to be in the blue about what this tax law means, I'm wondering what ordinary Nigerians will really imagine about this, because
Mike,
my question here, you just let me land, please.
Okay.
My question is, why is it that this tax law is looking, not just, you talked about the opaque nature, yes, we agree, but why is it having strong reservations, rejections from not only labor unions and groups, but also well-organized financial organizations and firms? It's something that baffles business owners, baffles business analysts and economists to wonder why there seems to be so much on the left rather than on the right. Let's understand this.
I began by telling you that when they were putting this together, the catchment that was used was too narrow.
Okay.
The disbursement of this information and data was too small.
Okay.
So whoever made that thing come up should have allowed it to filter into greater hands or more hands, majority of the hands. And part of them is this KPMG, who will have been able to say, there is a lacuna here, there is an error here.
So you are saying critical stakeholders were not carried along?
Not all of them. And the time frame between June and December is just 6 months.
Yeah.
And you are talking about a 500-page document.
Yeah.
You even know that from our National Assembly, there is this thing that the version of the law that was signed. So you see that there are controversies, but the substance of this tax law is what I want to. I'm not saying it's a perfect document. Okay. But I am saying the spirit and the letter of this law is of benefit. Now, going to this, this is possible because you are comparing two things. And that's why it's telling you there is a gap here.
There's error here, there's inconsistency here.
So long as this law have not been re-enacted, have not been discussed, and we know from the National Assembly that this issue have already been brought to the public domain, he is only emphasizing it.
Now, you know where my question will now be naturally is, I'm happy you've seen this law, and I'm happy you have a great knowledge about, vast knowledge, yes, of this very Tax Act 2025. Why is major labor unions really against this? Is there anything in it
When you
that
say
seems
major
to
labor
think-
union, except the NLC, is there any other
Yeah,
one?
well, NLC seems to be the major. They always still will remain the major.
No, you see NLC issues. NLC issues. Sometimes they play to the gallery. If we are talking about NLC, we are talking about worker, right?
Yes.
I have just told you that let January pay slip come.
Okay.
If my tax is reduced,
Okay.
do I need the president of NLC to tell me it is reduced?
No.
Will I not know?
You'll know.
So let's give it the benefit of doubt, because the tax calculator is saying if you punch 200,000 and it gives you an answer, it's going to be less. So let's see. For NLC,
So you feel NLC is just shooting the gun?
is just shooting the gun, and I also believe that is why even NAS has suspended their
plan
so
process.
if you watch all those who have been against, they are trying to say, okay, we've been hearing the rhetorics. January ending is not far. Let's get to begin to actually see what change this tax is bringing to.
Okay, now, as much as you've said this, another talking point of this tax act, and which I also did in my introduction, is the issue of business owners taking due advantage and are either telling you that the money they are charging from you on that transaction is either from VAT or in taking money from you. So I would really, rather Nigerians, not me myself, will really appreciate if you can really help us understand if there are any business in the transaction that they are now deputing us for, or are these people just being too dubious? Let's really understand.
No.
On a lighter note, with all due respect.
Yes, I understand that. We just want to be
Let's
but the point
understand.
is clear. There is something called stamp duty. I will just pick one item. If you do a transfer as it is today, that is more than 10,000 naira, and the narrative does not show, or does show rather, that it is an earning, there will be a 15 naira stamp duty charge instantly by your bank.
Yes.
Now, it does not remove the fact that the bank is still going to charge you their normal charges. Do I make sense to you?
Yeah, for each transaction, that's
so
I understand.
COT and all that and all that. So the man who did a transfer, and the law says it is me that is doing the transfer that will pay.
Not you receiving
Not
it.
you receiving it.
Okay.
So if the people are not wanting to be economical by half, I am the one paying you.
Then you are now telling me
The
to
one
pay
I am
extra.
to pay extra. So it's dubious. It doesn't hold water.
So all those businesswomen, businessmen
It doesn't
taking
hold
on
water,
due
because I
advantage.
am the one that is paying you. What government is waiting for on your part is when you are done, let me use another akara seller, right? You are going to go to bank to collect your money. Is that not correct? Now, government will be waiting to see the money you collected, which part of it? Because I paid you, including your profit.
Yes.
Government wants you to, by yourself, declare the profit so he knows his tax. Or if you don't, he's going to use the FROS to come around to get exactly how much of this is your profit.
So
And
are you saying these business owners are wanting us to pay that amount?
when it is dubious? And it is unfair. It's unfair.
Okay.
So that's just the situation, and I've also referenced it that I'm not very an enlightened society. Many of the others are doing copying.
Okay, I heard.
Mommy
I
Akara,
hear.
what did you do? Okay, so Madam Beans, without actually going for the fact. So what you're saying is spreading, but it does not negate the fact that it's an error.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm happy you've given us clarity as it concerns that. So when I go now and because I'm really, really concerned about where Nigeria seems to gain on this. And I'm talking about ordinary Nigerians. And the reason I say so, when government came out with this new tax act, they spoke to the high heavens that it's going to be beneficial to Nigeria, just like what they said is subsidy. But now we know, yes, money is coming, but the governor seems to be having more of the money than the ordinary Nigerians and can use or misuse these funds. At the end, Nigeria seems to be there at the receiving end. So my question now is, how will this tax law benefit Mama Ochuko selling bole, Papa Rukewe selling used clothes in Jakpa Road? How will it benefit Umaru that is selling tomatoes, fresh fruits, and okra at the junction close to Shop Fair or ShopRite? So let's really understand, how would this be beneficial to ordinary Nigerians?
Wow. Oh, that's a very good place. The benefit of the tax
To ordinary Nigerians,
to ordinary Nigerians will not come in the form many persons are expecting. For instance, when government collect tax, government have duties to perform with the revenue. Please, let's understand it is government that is collecting the tax. Is that not correct? And the purpose for which is collecting it is defined by the constitution. Alcohol.
Yes.
On the southern part of Nigeria, we celebrate alcohol.
Okay.
Now the VAT, value added tax, when it comes to the federal government, it not only shared to the people who took alcohol, it's also shared to the north who claims they don't take alcohol. That is the law. The federating units are supposed to share. When they share, they are supposed to be guided by their A, budget, B, constitution, C, peculiar needs to reach out to their people. But you made a very clear statement. Subsidy is gone. And subsidy, from the federal government point of view, is of benefit to the Nigerians because allocation to states have been increased. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. You now come to the states and say, with the increase in allocation, what have you done? Sadly, you might not be able to point to what was done. Then local government is worse because we don't even know whether they exist. So if you look at it, by our law, the layman, the Mama Ochuko, the Itosan that we are talking about, their benefit from tax should have been improved government, infrastructure, health services, education, security, and the list goes on. It is not something that you gather the money and come to share it. It is, the tax is supposed to be plowed so that Mama Ochuko don't need to sink a borehole before she can get water. She don't need to buy a generator before she can have light. So she should be sleeping without, what do you call them now? Vigilante coming to knock her door to pay vigilante fee after she had paid tax. So if these are the way they will benefit, then government should sit up. Because one thing is to collect the money, and the right thing to do is to use it justifiably to do those things.
Okay, well, anyway, well said, because it looks as if we'll be praying. That's what you are saying, that we need to go to church now to pray more, that our governors, those in the helms of affairs, will do the right thing with this money that will come to them. But individually, we will still be paying the tithes. We'll still be paying the tax to government. It's tithes, sorry. Well, don't mind me. But all you are saying, we still need to be paying it. So whether the government or those in the helms of affairs use it or not, our prayers will still be specific.
Mike, sorry.
Because
you are turning this conversation.
No,
wait.
I will plead with you. The reason I'm saying this, I have also studied the tax law and have found in the tax law that there's no caveat that implies or signifies that Nigeria can also make requests of how this money is being used. So that seems to be a really big lacuna that we need to pay tax, but we don't have the right to ask what this tax money will be used for. That's the question.
Mike, is not fair. The Constitution is not docile there. It's not sleeping. Holding our leaders to accountability is also a civic right. Just like paying your tax, we have referenced that before,
Okay.
that a law-abiding citizen of a country pays his tax, right? The same civic right puts it on every individual. It behoves on us to hold leadership to account.
And how do you do that?
Good. Carry placard in your street.
And get beaten by Nigerian police?
We are not Iran.
Okay,
Don't
sorry.
beat the
Yeah,
body. Carry placards in your street. Why? Draw the attention of your councillor. To every street or ward, there is a councillor.
I won't lie, I can't remember when I saw my councillor.
That's your issue. So
Okay.
hold your councillor. Let the local government hold the chairman. Let the local government hold the governor. Let the states hold the president. See, this failure of governance, where we're going now, we have left the tax. The truth is governance working in Nigeria? The answer is no. Because the latitude for which we hold our leadership accountable, we don't use it.
Okay.
We prefer the alternate dispute resolution mechanism, where, oh no, now, if you go and go police go come do like this. Make we just settle here. So the rest and facts of matters are not brought to the public. It is more sentiment. If not, if I pay my tax and I don't have the road to my street or to my house is bad, it behoves on me to petition the government.
But would that not also make more sense that while you are bringing this tax law out, you also put there, stated, that if you wait for a period of 6 months after paying your tax, your road is not yet tarred, your wife doesn't have drinking water, your son still is only eating eba with only one little fish in the soup on account of there's no good market around because facilities and all that is not there. You need to go to court to find or get redress.
Now,
but it's not stated in the...
But when
so
you
how do
don't
you
pay
push for
your
that?
tax, when you don't pay your tax, you will be taken to court.
That's the
well.
irony.
No, listen well. You will be taken to a revenue court. So when you also find them not using your tax money correctly, you should go to court.
And have the judge look at you and say, are you... do you
Well, I'm not a judge, but
Okay.
the courts are there for adjudication.
Okay, well, anyways, before anybody thinks about that, plans to do that, I will tell you to look deeper into the tax law and also see if the Freedom of Information Act is being respected by the... Sorry, we are not going there because it will be too deep. Let's remain within the tax regime. And I want us to also look at what Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, said, that the law will not only reduce tax burden on Nigerians, but the beautiful thing about this, it will help stimulate economic growth. So as an economist, in your own honest assessment, we've talked about tax law and all you've been talking about is how it's going to help government. That's what we've been hearing. So let's understand how it's going to help businesses to grow. That is where my concern is because Taiwo Oyedele has told us, he's giving us hope.
Yeah.
So
Now,
should we still remain with the hope agenda or hope for better all or hope for better women? Anyway, don't mind me. Just, will it really stimulate growth?
I think Dr. Barak is calling you.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
I'm here at Atlantic.
Basically, you know that there are two economic differences between economic growth and economic development.
Okay.
What Taiwo said is correct, economically using the philosophy. Okay. Economic growth simply means that the quantum of productivity is going to increase.
Quantum of which productivity?
Now, this is what he's saying. That if a man was having 10,000 naira to go to the market to buy beans, to fry akara and sell, and that woman used to pay 50 naira every day for somebody who comes to collect grand tax or whatever kind of tax. Now, this woman had been exempted from paying that 20 naira. Therefore, if he aggregates the 20 naira over a period, he can get to the market and improve his or her production by maybe +1 or +2. Remember, growth is an increase in the right direction. So that's what I will say, that because the volume or the amount of tax individuals are going to pay is going to reduce, a little more cash is going to be remaining with them, which they can plow back into their businesses. But as an economist, does that lead to economic development? Far from it.
So it's two different things.
Yes.
We should not marry them.
No.
But I would really want to ask one more question. Will this tax law now stop all those touts from giving tickets to all those women with wheelbarrows selling groundnut oil, kerosene, and indeed banga spice?
This is where I said again, the local government is a problem to the administration of tax. The joint tax board by this law have been fused together. Now, let us maintain this law in such a way that the issue of double taxation don't come. The monetary policies are encouraging Mama Nkechi to use the bank. The fiscal policy are saying he should pay tax. Why should somebody else still come to collect any money in any form of levy?
Grand rent. That's what they call it.
Now, who checks makes that? It's the local government. Okay. So if the local government wake up to say, no, henceforth, we stay within our bound, then Mama Nkechi, when you come to collect, you have somebody to call. They don't come again, no. They say, make her come pay. She don't say, make her no pay. Are you getting it? But you know us. Intimidation will begin to come, and before you know, you don't want to lose where you are selling. And at the end of the day, you begin to. So it is that wrong part of it that is my problem.
Okay, anyway, I know we're almost out of time because we still have a lot to go through. And I really want to ask this, a quick one. Yeah, you've talked about double taxation, but are we going to see an end of that in large-scale businesses on account of this tax law?
Majorly, large-scale businesses don't face what the smaller ones faces. Why? As legal entities that have power to sue and to be sued, when you tamper with their tax, they have their process of tax administration. So they can go to arbitration, they can go anywhere, they can follow you up. So for the larger ones, not a problem. But for the smaller ones who, in their quest to get justice, that which they have saved may not be sufficient, and you are going to be taking their time, their business begin to suffer. Sometimes they have to allow self-help, which means they let them just go. So I think that's where my problem is. If government want this tax regime to be favorable to the downtrodden, then those who administer, those who encourage it, because those staffs you see, they are the foot soldiers of somebody else.
That's collecting tax
all
on
the
account
revenue
for the government.
subcommittees, yes, all the revenue subcommittees of local government need to be put down, addressed, educated, so that their foot soldiers don't go there to make noise and trouble for people.
Anyway, we're totally out of time. I want your final take as it concerns this tax law. And what direction? Is it in the right, is it going through the right direction? If not, what direction should it go? Yes, you've given us one of such direction, and that's talking to local government agents, tax agents, to be called to order for the issue of unnecessary taxation to all those persons, any little or nothing. But what direction should it take? Or are you just satisfied with the direction you should take? Or should we give them more time, just like you said? Let's wait till the end of January before we look at and streamline what needs to stay or what needs to go.
That would be my first point is, they made the law. It's already been implemented for the first 30 days. Let's see what will happen. If there are concerns, let them be quickly addressed. Because the tax law on its whole is not a bad document, but if poorly managed, it will cause
more harm than good. Yes. Okay. Well, anyway, on that note, we've come to the end of the show, and you do know what we always enjoy doing is really talk about major issues. And one issue that is really disturbing a whole lot of persons at the moment is the issue of the new tax law, and we call it the New Tax Act of 2025, which came into effect on the very first minute, in the very first hour, the very first day of 2026. There were many Nigerians are already seeing, well, just like economist Gideon said, should we give them time to fully understand it, or should we indeed do the needful and see whether it can truly help out? But all we need to do now is to thank you so much. I'm talking of no other person but economist Gidi Ogu for coming through and coming to enlighten, educate ordinary Nigerians to truly understand more about the concerns this tax act or law. We really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, but you needed to navigate your way to the studio. And I'm happy nobody taxed you on the way, because our entity, we do not tax for now, but we'll pay our tax. Yeah, we pay our tax. So thank you so much, Mr. Gidi Ogu, for coming through with us and helping us to do this. We truly appreciate the time with us.
Yeah, Mike, the thing I will leave as a parting shot on this is,
yes,
if this tax law were to work with the intent and spirit of which the drafters wrote it, there will be a middle class in Nigeria coming up.
Ah, amen.
But if it is badly done, then even the poor
will be poor more.
will get a little poorer.
Anyway, we just hope that's not the case. But what the case is we'll tell you the conversation does not end here. Let's see how you can drop those comments, share, like, and also be a part of the discourse even after the show. Let's get your reaction as it concerns the new tax law. If you have more questions, this might be the best opportunity, knowing we might do a follow-up after January ending, as you see. And we might need to bring him back for him to really say, oh, is it true what I said? Is it true in the 500-page document, or should it have a review? So let's get your comments, contribution. The social media handles are already there on your screen. Let's really enjoy all of it.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys.